Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today we have the gentleman, Paul Bradley, getting ready to fight Chris Honeycutt, Bellator 140, July 17th. Paul's right now down in a gym, but not a Lions training center where he trains. What gym are you in right now?
I'm actually at Victory MMA where my striking coach, Tony Palafox, is at, and then I teach here too. I teach wrestling, so it's a nice little fit. Nice little change of pace, you know. So.
Yeah. How is the wrestling down there in San Diego? I mean, we all know about Orange County wrestling. It's always been good. You know, when I was in college at OU, we had Shannon Dane Valdez, who came from Orange County, California, Santa Ana, California, came up. So there's always been good wrestling there. But what's the wrestling like in San Diego?
Honestly, it's not that great. Other than Poway High School, and if you're serious about wrestling, that's where you go and you transfer your kid in. That's just how it works. My business partner, I run wrestling camps actually called Ultimate Warrior Wrestling Camps, and we're doing them all through. Doing one down in the South Bay at Eastlake High School, and then we're doing one in Poway, and then we got one out in the desert in El Centro. So my business partner, he actually, his kid was pretty decent out in El Centro, and he actually transferred his kid in the last 2 years to Poway. So if you really want to be a good wrestler, you usually send Poway, So
yeah. It
just is what it is, kids. It's not like Iowa. It's not like there's too much to do out here, So
there's a crap ton of distractions. Everybody's got something else going on, especially now with if you're looking at Clippers, Lakers, or the Warriors, everyone's trying to pay attention to basketball. You've got between the Ducks and the Kings, and then you get all the way up to San Jose. So there's hockey. There's baseball everywhere. There's and now we're talking about, obviously in the South, we don't have any football yet, but there's something coming to LA. So there's so many distractions. And now you get down to San Diego, Mexico's 5-minute drive away. You're talking about, the surf is right there. It's just, there's so much other stuff to do outdoor wise. Wrestling kind of gets put on the back burner.
Yeah, for real, you said it all. Kids surf, they skateboard, there's women, there's Tijuana, there's so much to do that it kind of sucks because it's really hard. Kids just aren't committed, man. Like I was saying, I run these camps and I run a wrestling club down here, and I had pretty good numbers for my club, but towards the end, I had about 20 kids out of 60, so it's just dwindles down,
Yeah.
So.
It's tough, man. It's just one of those situations where you're kind of in a weird spot. But are you finding enough good wrestling partners for you to get prepared for Honeycutt? That's the big question. It's great having all those other sources of income. Yep. With a fight coming up that's imminent coming in here July 17th, do you have enough wrestling partners to get you ready for Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I got a guy by the name of Brian Keck, who I'm sure you know, down here helping me. Gassam, Story. Gassam, although he never wrestled in college, he was state champ in Arizona. Story, he was an NAIA, I think, national runner-up.
Yep.
Heck, I've even reached out to a kid from Cal Baptist, Paul Cabeza. They're 197-pounder. He's just a big kid, man, and I've had him come down to wrestle with. So honestly, the wrestling's been on par. I got Phil Davis.
Yeah.
There's no lack of wrestling partners for me, thankfully. It's just the community for kids wrestling isn't great, but thankfully, like I said, I've got 4 days of wrestling, so it's almost like too much,
Yeah. So. It's good. It's good now, especially Keck was one of our coaches up at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas before he moved down to Alliance, and great coach, great job, does an amazing work, and you guys are very lucky to have him down there. So you've got a great game planner with Neil Melanson, great game planner with Brian Keck, but who actually runs the game plan for your training camp to get you through the whole 8-week training camp?
Coach Eric Del Fero, he helps a lot, and then pretty much my striking coach at Victory from over here at Victory, Tony Palafox. The guy's like my right hand man. The one fight I have lost in Bellator was when I didn't have him there. He just knows how to light a fire under my ass when I'm out there, and he shoots me straight. He doesn't come back to the corner and tell me, "Oh, you might have eked that round out." If I didn't win that round decisively, he lets me know. So. Thankfully, I have him. Keck's definitely going to be a big part of this with the wrestling. But unfortunately, I won't have Neil in my corner this time. I don't know if you've heard, but He's actually going to be heading to the Blackzilians, so we're losing.
I actually didn't. We had talked about him making that move. We weren't sure it was actually going to happen the last time we actually spoke. But now that you broke it to me, that now that he's actually taken off and going to Blackzilians, and that's a huge loss for Alliance. It was a huge loss for Couture's when he left, and now it's a huge loss for Alliance that he's leaving, going over to Blackzilians. But it's good for Blackzilians because now they're going to actually have some really good grappling and some guys that can actually make a big difference down there for them.
Yeah, I don't have anything against the Blackzilians, but let's be honest, a lot of their black belts are just traditional black belts, and I know you probably know from experience, you use that half Nelson or that 3/4 on those black belts and push your head right down the mat. They're not going anywhere.
No, they're stuck.
There's no guard to be guarded, so it sucks, but because like I was pretty close to Neil too, and he took me under his wing like he does most wrestlers, because he knows how tough we are, and he's a catch wrestler. So, thankfully he left on good terms, and I think need be I'm gonna head down there for a few days or a week, 2 weeks here and there and train with him, and I'm not gonna let him go as a coach. I can tell you that much. I'm always gonna be in touch, and guy's a great guy, and like you said, it's a huge loss for us, but we'll make it work. It's unfortunate, what can you do? So
is there a situation where you might think about moving to Florida and going to Blackzilians? Are you so embedded in San Diego that you really can't do that?
Yeah, I'm pretty much embedded. My girl, she has a really good job actually. So, and I love it here. I do. I love San Diego.
Let's be honest. Nobody hates living in San Diego. There's not a person. I mean, even the homeless are like, I love living in San Diego. It's
exactly.
Awesome
I'm from Iowa. I was landlocked my whole life, and
here
I am living, 6 blocks from the ocean. So this is awesome, and but yeah, it is what it is. Like with Neil, like I said, I can always. I've already talked to him. Go down there 2 weeks before, get a pre camp in before camp. It's he taught a ton of stuff, and I got good at a lot of good stuff. It just, like I said, it sucks because he was great coach, great mentor, but he's got to do what's best for him and his family. So
let's talk about Chris Honeycutt a little bit. 6-0, 4 KOs, a submission decision. Obviously you love going into decisions. You're very comfortable. You've got the heart. You've got the energy. You're able to maintain your technique all the way through, so it's not a big problem for you. But this guy's undefeated. And sometimes undefeated guys are a little mentally handicapped. They're a little silly because they don't realize when they're in trouble because they've never been in trouble before.
Right.
How hard do you think it's going to be to put a guy like this into trouble and make him realize that he's about to take a beating, take a bad hurting, and might get finished?
You said it best. This guy thinks he's on top of the world. I've been there before. Been there 10-0, and Mike Pierce had to set me back to reality. And that was a fight that catapulted him to the UFC, and I had to win another fight and go to Strikeforce, so could have been a totally different career path for me. But, this kid hasn't fought anybody, man. Like, even when I was his age and I was, undefeated, I was fighting the, Dante Rivera from the same season as me.
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting the Nathan Coy. I was fighting the Mike Pierces. This guy, he fought a 55-pounder last fight. Let's be real.
Clayton McFarland was his last fight, and he TKO'd him punches to the body, and the kid was like 1/3 of his size.
Exactly.
He was a 55-pounder, but he was a small 55-pounder.
Exactly, and he got him. Kid really pissed me off. He starts chirping on me on Twitter about going and lifting weights, and he's gonna go run 5 miles. Hey, bud, I think you were the one that wrestled 197 pounds in college and are my height. Like, let's get real. I don't want to accuse anyone of PEDs, but shit, man.
Yeah.
Phil Davis is a 197 pounder, and he's 6'2".
Yeah.
So, it's just like the kid started chirping, and now I got all the fuel in the world just to kick his ass, man. I mean, I don't think honestly I've had this much enthusiasm and been this fired up for a fight, because I'm just gonna set him back to reality, man. I'm sick of the shit, and it is what it is,
Are you gonna knock him out or are you gonna submit him?
I don't even care. I just want to put a beating on him. I want to put my hands on him. I want to hit him with that first hard shot, make him think, oh shit, after he dives in on that takedown and I stuff it, And I've seen that happen before. The first fight with Nathan Coy, I kicked him so hard to the body, he shot in for a takedown and couldn't get it, and I just saw that look like, fuck, man, it's gonna be a rough night.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what we want. This fight's gonna be great, Paul. You and Chris are gonna be. It's gonna be a good battle. It's gonna be a great battle. It's really gonna be a war of attrition. Who sets the game plan earliest and gets their way early. So if you can get your way in the first round, you'll be able to dominate all the way through. Even if it goes to a decision, you better maintain that pace all the way through to the third round. So get out there, dominate, and establish yourself within the first minute and a half of the first round, and you'll cruise yourself into a victory for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no lack of motivation for this kid. I'm sure you've had it in your career. You've had some young kid, I mean, you're a legend in the sport, and I want to tell you congrats on making it to the Hall of Fame. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And but I know you've been there before. You've had some young kid that doesn't know any better talking shit, and you've been in these wars and you fought all these guys. I mean, let's be honest. Like my only stoppage is a guy who's going to end up being the world champ, and Luke Rockhold. So the guy's never faced anyone like that. He's never even faced a Rafael Natal. He's never faced a Mike Pierce. He's never faced, the Nathan Coys, the Valder Origio, who's on the Ultimate Fighter right now. It's like comparing apples to oranges. For him to just think he's going to come out and like make me his stepping stone. So
that's Paul Bradley getting ready to face Chris Honeycutt coming up here on July 17th. Bellator 140, of course, can be seen on Spike TV. Thanks so much, Paul, for coming here with MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. But have a great rest of your training camp. We'll talk again soon.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy every piece of it, and I can't wait till fucking July 17th. And I appreciate it. And like I said, congrats, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Always been a big fan of you, man, ever since the Hughes fight. So
thanks.
Big fan, and thanks again, man.
You got it, brother. Talk to you soon.